Good morning and welcome to St Clare's. I'd like to make a start by welcoming our Principal, Mr Duncan Reith.
Hello everybody, welcome to our virtual open event. Today we're particularly delighted because we're talking to people from Oxford, from other parts of the UK, from Europe, from other countries around the world, and that very much reflects the international culture of St Clare's. In today's event, we want to talk to you about St Clare's, about the IB Diploma, and about our Pre-IB programme. And we hope to be able to answer any questions you might have about our amazing school. I'm Duncan Reith, I'm the principal, and I just wanted to say a few words of introduction to start off this event. St Clare's is a unique place. We were founded by an idealist, by Anne Dridle, nearly 70 years ago, with a specific mission to bring students together from around the world to advance international education and understanding. So we hope you'll want to join our very special international community. We've got students from over 45 countries, and we teach literature in 20 different languages with native speaker teachers. If you come to us, you'll be joining a highly successful and pioneering IB World School. We were the first school in England to teach the IB Diploma, starting 44 years ago. Our average IB Diploma score last year was an astonishing 36.3 out of a maximum of 45. That's much higher than the world average of 31.9 and places us in an elite group of schools worldwide. And many of the other schools in this group are very academically selective. We're proud that we achieve our results from cohorts with a much wider range of ability. Our value added is on the 94th centile, so your son or daughter coming here should make more progress on average than 93 other schools out of 100. We have small class sizes, highly experienced teaching staff. We really know what we're doing with the IB. Another USP of St Clare's is that our careers and higher education advice and counselling is probably the best in the UK. Every year, our graduates go on to many of the top universities in the world. In the UK, a small number go to Oxford or Cambridge, but far larger numbers seek out the bright lights of London, LSE, UCL, Imperial, King's, and quite a number of leavers go to top American or Canadian colleges such as Harvard, Dartmouth, Berkeley, or Toronto, and European universities like Amsterdam, Maastricht, Bocconi, and IE in Madrid, which teach in English, and they're growing in popularity for our graduates. More about this later from Helen, our head of careers and HE. What impresses me most about St Clare's out of all the schools I've ever worked in or know is the quality of our students' experience. And you'll get a chance to hear from students later in this event. Everything we do is designed to make the St Clare's student experience as enjoyable as it can possibly be. More than half our students come here because of recommendations from existing or former students. Our boarding and our pastoral care are outstanding, and the range of other activities like sport, music, drama, and community service is simply superb. Frankly, I think that's enough from me for the time being. If you've got any questions at any point in this open day, please use the Q&A function and we'll answer your questions at the end. Let's now pass over to Al Summers, our Vice Principal Academic, so that you can find out more about the IB Diploma and the Pre-IB.
Thank you, Duncan, and a very warm welcome from me in Oxford to you wherever you are in the world. I'd like to take a few moments to talk to you about our courses. And I'd like to start off by talking about our flagship course, which is the IB Diploma. I'm going to assume a mixed level of knowledge amongst the audience today. So if I'm telling you things you already know, I do apologise. To start off with, the IB Diploma is a world-recognised course, and it has quite an interesting structure. So I'd like to just take you through a little bit of how it works. On your screen now, you can see that the heart of the IB Diploma is what's called the learner profile. This is a set of 10 attributes, values, behaviours that we're looking to develop in our learners as they go through the diploma. They are things like being thinkers, being risk takers, being balanced, being caring. And these really are at the heart of what we consider to be an education. It's not just about teaching you what to know, it's about helping you to become an aware, considered, internationally minded citizen, and developing the characteristics of the IB learner profile really helps in that regard. Around the IB learner profile, the IB is quite specific about the types of skills that it's looking for learners to develop. And these are skills that will be very useful to students, both at university and life beyond that. So that we are specifically in all of our courses looking to help our students to become more adept thinkers. We encourage them to learn to communicate in a variety of different ways, not just on paper, but orally and also in various other media. We really work hard at developing their social skills, their ability to collaborate and to work together on a range of different project types. University admissions officers are very keen on the self-management skills that IB students bring to university. They're often very capable of juggling multiple deadlines. They're well prepared to manage their own time. And finally, we look to develop the research skills in our students. This is absolutely vital in an age of both information and misinformation. And our students arrive in that world beyond school, able to navigate the challenges that are there. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about how approaches to teaching work. Essentially, our teaching is very much sort of based around the individual, encouraging people to develop as learners, but particularly we look to develop learning in both local and global contexts. It's an international diploma, and obviously we want to develop that international feel to it. Around the approaches to teaching and learning, we have what are called the core elements, and this is a unique feature of the IB Diploma. Lots of schools have things that they do outside of subjects, but in the IB Diploma, they are integral to the learning. The first of these is TOK, or Theory of Knowledge. It's a critical thinking course which asks about how we know, what we know, the limits of knowledge, and how we find out, and it cuts across the academic disciplines. It's a fantastic preparation for university because our students are there ready to answer the difficult questions rather than just thinking about bits of knowledge that they have. There's also the extended essay. This can in many ways be seen as the crown jewel of the IB Diploma. Our students research and then write an academically styled 4,000-word essay on the subject of their choice. And it's an opportunity for them to explore at a deep level something that really interests them relating to a subject. And at the end, of course, they produce a formally styled document. And our students go on to university, for example, with very, very strong referencing skills, the ability to project manage, lots of really, really valuable things. And then finally, we have the CAS programme. This is extracurricular activities, but our students are encouraged to be balanced by taking part in sporting, creative, and service activities, and St Clare's has a fabulous range of options available. Only at this point do we actually come to our subjects. And in an IB Diploma, students sit 6 subjects in a balanced curriculum, including languages, sciences, humanities, maths, and they can also choose to take a course in the arts. I'll come to our offering there in a minute. And then finally, and perhaps most importantly, the International Baccalaureate Diploma Programme is about international mindedness. It is a global world out there. There are fantastic opportunities there for our young people, as well as the challenges that we all know about. And St Clare's, with its 45 nationalities and a very, very diverse group of teachers, is superbly placed to help people to think in those international terms. In terms of the mechanics of how an IB Diploma works, students sit 3 higher and 3 standard level subjects. The high level subjects have more teaching time and tend to be the subjects that perhaps the student is most interested in or most relevant to perhaps a university application, with the standard level subjects being seen as slightly more of a supporting cast. You need to take 1 subject from each of groups 1 to 5, and you can then take as your final subject an art subject or a second subject from one of the other groups. I'll exemplify that in a few minutes. The diploma is scored out of 45 points, 7 points for each subject, and up to 3 points for the core elements coming from TOK and CAS. This is quite important because let's say that a student has an off day in one particular exam and maybe drops a point or maybe 2 points in a subject. It doesn't have the sort of catastrophic effect that perhaps dropping an A-level grade or 2 does, and it creates a very sort of stable assessment model. So I'd now like to just guide you through our subjects. Group 1 is Studies in Language and Literature, and as Duncan has already told you, we offer literature options across up to 20 different languages. And it's a fantastic thing for our students to be able to really engage with the literature and the culture of home with someone who is a native speaker. They often develop very strong relationships with their literature teachers. We also offer a range of language acquisition options, as you can see, including English, Spanish, German, French, and Chinese. And you can also start a new language from scratch with an ab initio language. Quite a number of our students actually take 2 subjects from Group 1 because they're already effectively bilingual, and that is an advantage too. Group 3 is called Individuals and Societies and is effectively our humanities subjects, including history, geography, business and management, psychology, economics, politics, and environmental systems. You should note that environmental systems, that's ESS on your screen, also counts as a science. So let's say that you have a real desire to do lots of languages or lots of sciences, you can use ESS to count in both Group 3 and Group 4 columns, allowing you to customize your diploma. In Group 4, we have the sciences, including physics, chemistry, and biology, and ESS once again. Everybody in the IB diploma does mathematics. This is a good thing because I think that 16 is really too early to be giving up completely on mathematics. But we have 2 courses. The Analysis and Approaches courses, which can be seen as a more pure maths, and Applications and Interpretations, which sees the mathematics applied to real life situations. We offer both courses at both levels, which is a rarity among schools, and we are lucky to have several people who are highly influential in the development of maths courses for the IB. Finally, we have our Group 6 offering, which includes theatre, visual arts and music for those who wish to retain a creative or performing element within their diploma. I have spent quite a number of years telling people about the IB, and in particular, myth-busting certain aspects of the IB diploma. Here are a few of my most prominent favourites. IB is only for international students. I personally think that the IB is tremendously enriching wherever you are, and I think our UK students benefit hugely from an internationally focused education. There's also a myth out there that IB is only good for the most intellectually capable students. I would beg to differ. We find that actually the structure associated with the IB diploma, the coursework elements that are found in each subject, and the meaningful tasks that are undertaken along the way actually help students of all levels, and they become better self-managers and organisers, whatever the level of ability they start with. Is it harder work than, for example, English A-levels? Well, one of the things that is true is that because you have a lot of different components, and lots of things that actually count, it encourages you to get into a productive work rhythm early on in your sixth form course. So I do think IB students work hard, but they reap the rewards of working hard and consistently. And I think that people who succeed in their A-levels also work very hard. I often hear that from people that they're worried about keeping on subjects that they're less good at, that it'll drag them down in some way. But actually, the evidence suggests that that's not the case, and that retaining a broad, balanced curriculum is actually developmentally good across all subjects. And you can afford to lose the odd point here and there and still generate a very high overall score. And really, you never know. You may never know when you're going to need maths in your real life. You might never know when a language might turn out to be handy. And it's great to keep these things going through to the end of school. Finally, I often hear that IB is not a good preparation for particular courses. And at times people have said, oh, it's not good for engineering, it's not good for medicine, it's not good for creative arts. I'm going to leave it to Helen, who will be talking to you next after me, to just destroy some of those myths. IB is an excellent preparation for pretty much anything you can think of. Our results, I'm not going to spend too long on this. Duncan's already told you about our world average. We're incredibly proud of this average because we're not a highly academically selective school, and our students make superb progress in terms of how they perform at the end of their diploma. We're highly ranked in many of the league tables, but that's not actually our main reason for existing. It is all about the education. If the education is right, the results follow. I'd now like to just talk to you a little bit about the programme we have available before the IB diploma. So this is a one-year course called Pre-IB, which students often do to prepare to do the two-year IB Diploma. And in many ways, it mirrors the IB Diploma. It's a balanced preparation, including English, maths, sciences, humanities, arts, and a CAS programme. And you get to try out many of the subjects that will be on offer in the IB Diploma to see whether they may suit you as course choices. Some students have the opportunity to also sit formal qualifications, IGCSEs in English and maths. We can't guarantee this to everybody because, of course, they are two-year courses that we would need to put you through in a single year. So it does depend to some degree on prior experience. One of the great things about the Pre-IB course is for students who are still developing in terms of their English, it gives them a great opportunity to develop that academic English in the context of subjects before taking on the IB Diploma. They also get the opportunity to try a new language. The key skills in subjects like maths and sciences and lab work are really developed through our course, and you get to try out a whole range of subjects that could feature in your programme, as well as participating in CAS and getting the opportunity to complete Duke of Edinburgh's Bronze Award. I think that's also enough from me, so I'm now going to hand on to Helen, who's going to talk you through our careers provision. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's my great privilege to lead a team of 3 full-time careers advisors and college counsellors, working with our lovely students and supporting them through what is probably the biggest transition of any of their lives. Our vision is to create an individualised and rigorous careers education and college counselling programme that will ensure that you are university and college ready. So the IB can take you really anywhere in the world. It is the most international qualification accepted in 150 countries, and that number is growing all the time, just as the number of universities around the world are growing their offerings taught in the English language. So the IB taught in English is really a passport to a global education. So where do our students actually go? Well, looking at the data since 2014, we can see that our students come from all over the world, and they really go all over the world. About 50% of our students currently will stay in the UK for university, where around 10 to 20% will go to North America, and the remainder to European countries, top universities in the Far East, with a lot of interest growing there, and also Australia and New Zealand. So they do go to some really fabulous institutions, and we celebrate every single one of them, because our driving principle is to find the right fit institution for you. The IB prepares you for really any subject in any country around the world. And you can see there's a diverse range, with perhaps some of the more popular subjects just at the moment being business and finance and politics and economics. But we really encourage you, at least in the first 2 terms of your IB, to explore a wide range of subjects in many different ways before you settle on that decision. We do also support a large number of students in the creative arts and performing arts, and we can offer in-house portfolio preparation, for example, for fine arts and graphic design courses. So we deliver most of our one-to-one college guidance in-house, which means that we in the careers team get to know you extremely well. And we work really closely with the pastoral and academic teams and collaborate very closely in a team around the students. But we do partner with a select number of external organisations who can provide specialist help, for example, in SAT tuition, and also in finding specialist work experience. And we're really developing, equipping in students the lifelong career management skills that they will need for the rest of their lives. We obviously focus on university applications. Most of our students go to university, but it's the lifelong career management that we are starting to educate students in. So let me take you on a journey that the students will go on if you come to St Clare's. This would be your careers programme, with the little group icons showing classes embedded in the curriculum. So you're taught in small groups in the curriculum on your timetable, which means that careers at St Clare's is not something that's just tacked onto the end of the day and delivered by a very busy teacher. We are expert careers counsellors, and our classes are underpinned by the latest theory and knowledge in the world of careers advice. And this is supplemented by external events. So for example, since September, we've welcomed more than 50 universities onto campus and delivered 50 universities online from all over the world, enabling students to make that personal connection and to increase their knowledge. We love to innovate, and we're always providing tools and resources that we ensure are engaging and meaningful for students. So to this end, we provide specialist support for Oxbridge and Medic students. And we've also built a bespoke website. This is a public website that both students and parents can engage with. It includes a blog, which is updated on a daily basis, offering all those experiential learning opportunities and introductions to universities and taster lectures. And we've developed a suite of blended learning materials so that students can engage with those in their own time, as well as the education that we deliver in class. So it's a really 360 degree career service at St Clare's, supplemented by expertise from outside, but delivered by qualified careers advisors who will know you really very well.
I'm absolutely delighted to share with you today how pastoral care contributes to a very unique and enriching experience of our students, and how our pastoral care has a long-lasting effect on lives of our students, that magic that will last well beyond St Clare's. So I'll start with the environment. As you can see, the quote from the latest ISI inspection, they also recognize the importance of the environment in which our students study. If you visit us, and I strongly recommend that you do, you will experience that warmth. That's a really striking feature of our environment. The warmth that you'll experience from our staff, from our students. They can engage with you with ease on any topic. They are confident, they have great insight into so many topics, and they are inquisitive. They want to know about you, about new people, about people in general. You will also see students and staff enjoying relationships. That you will see students who love spending their time with their friends, an absolute support network for them. So I'll explore relationships now as the next thing. So our pastoral care really stands strongly on two pillars. One is relationships, and the other one is healthy lifestyles. Relationships absolutely matter at St Clare's. Everything is about relationships. They are based on trust, they are based on personal responsibility, and they are based on mutual understanding. Staff are here to join students on their journey through secondary school and make sure that, that they succeed in the end. So the first important relationship in their life is their relationship, their personal tutor. Personal tutor has a maximum of 10 tutees in their personal tutor group. 5 are IB1s, so year 12s, and 5 tutees are IB2s, so year 13 students. So there's integration already within tutor group. There's quite a lot of sharing of experience. So IB2s share what it was like when they were IB1s, and IB1s can see what IB2 students are going through. So that personal tutor group is absolutely vital. Personal tutor reviews their academic progress and also personal development, oversees personal development. They check the comments from teachers every 3 weeks, and they'll have a discussion about their academic progress, where things are, where They try to identify areas of improvement. They try to identify strategies that would help them to improve. And they will discuss any other matters that might affect their learning or their experience at St Clare's. Personal tutors know a great deal about their tutees. They see them on a weekly basis, and they are often their subject teachers as well. Boarding staff, another very important relationship in the life of our students. After school, when they return to their boarding house, if they are boarders, they'll have a friendly person who loves finding out about their day, about their life, who is there for a chat, who is there to cheer them up when things have not gone very well during the day. And they provide that constant caring presence after school, in the evening, and at weekends. Personal tutor and house parents communicate with parents on a regular basis. So parents are always informed. They are a part of that St Clare's journey of their children. Subject teachers are incredibly passionate and caring. There's an affirmative atmosphere in the classroom. Our students love attending classes. They have very friendly relationships with their teachers. Our teachers are very experienced. They are experts in their subject areas, but most importantly, they are very resourceful in providing students with the right strategies to progress in their subject. They provide very detailed feedback, so students are very confident because they know exactly what they need to improve, where their weaknesses are, and teachers are absolutely there to support them. Pastoral leaders, Vice Principal Pastoral and Assistant Principal Pastoral, ensure that every student is supported, that the experience of every single student is really unique and very enriching, as I said at the beginning. If students need more support than what we provide, then we ensure that there's more support, whether it's a college counsellor or an external counsellor or any other support with their special educational needs. Anything else, we'll just make sure that the right provision is for them. We also have our college nurse who is here from Monday to Friday from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock. And she provides an outstanding medical care for our students. And again, that communication with parents and with students is just so important, because parents want to feel that and want to know that their children will be looked after really well if they are unwell. Now, healthy lifestyle, when you visit, you'll see our students who, as I said, are happy, they're very sporty, they move around all the time. And I think that's the outcome of our balanced approach towards healthy lifestyle. We make sure that all these elements that you can see on the screen are well balanced. So, for example, emotional health, we make sure that relationships, that they are functional. We make sure that if our students are anxious or they struggle with exam stress, that we provide them with the right strategies. We have nurture groups, we have college counsellor, we have staff who are trained in mental health first aid. We also make sure that our students understand that, for example, sleep hygiene is just so important, so that they are robust and well rested, ready for the next day. Technological health. So again, we strike the right balance where we ensure that they are competent users of information technology, but also that they are aware they need to manage their screen time. Global health. So it's very important that our students engage with global topics. So we had sessions. They are supporting homeless people in Oxford, for example. They are actively involved in climate change initiatives. They are preparing a conference about equity, social justice, and diversity that will take place in February. So they are really active. They like being engaged and be agents of change in the world. Future health, I think that really the careers department and what Helen explained to you, we want our students to be confident and know what their options are. And again, that contributes to their good health because they know where they can support. They know that careers team will be there on their journey. They'll give them sound advice and they'll make the right choices. Study health, again, early on, we provide study session for our students. We make sure that they are aware of all the strategies that can help them to progress in their study. And also this is revisited on a smaller scale in their personal tutor groups. Their personal tutor, again, is there to see whether their workload is right, or they're overloading themselves or not doing enough. So very important. House parents do exactly the same because they know study habits of their boarders. So again, lots of discussions are going on in boarding houses to address their study health. And physical health is a part of CAS program. They exercise every week, a minimum of 1 hour, but they have membership in the gym. They can explore the different running routes around the college. We make sure that our meals are healthy in the dining hall so that they can eat healthily while they are with us at St Clare's. And they are also educated on all these aspects. Now, when it comes to boarding, so about 90% of our students are boarders, but they students also benefit massively from our boarding environment because they students have 3 meals included in their fees, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you will often see day students joining boarders in the morning for breakfast. Also, you'll see them in the evening. You'll see them in boarding houses late into the evening because they have CAS activities that sometimes last till 8 o'clock in the evening, 9 o'clock in the evening. So they spend lots of time with our boarders. So our boarding houses, as you see on the pictures, are very different from other boarding schools. We have 15 boarding houses, and they are actually houses spread across the residential area in North Oxford. They have the number of boarders per house is from 8 to 24 maximum. So house parents can really give individual attention to their parents, and the feel in the house is like real home from home. Bedrooms are 1 bedroom, 2 double rooms or triple rooms. Some are en suites, some are not en suite. They would have, study desk. They are spacious, and again, we promote independence, personal responsibility. Our rules are adapted to be that step before they go to university. So again, our rules are very different to those to other boarding schools. We give our students and our boarders a lot of freedom, but it comes with a lot of personal responsibility. And now it's over to Chris Osbourn, who will explain to you more about our scholarship offers.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you again for joining us. So hopefully, after these excellent presentations, you're thinking about the application process to St Clare's, and I'll talk you through that. So the application process is very straightforward. We just need to see your most recent school reports. And as Duncan and Al both mentioned earlier on, we're not academically highly selective. You don't need to be a straight A student to apply, but your reports and transcripts need to suggest that you're serious about your work, that you want to progress and work hard and get a good university place at the end of the course. If your report suggests that, we'll invite you to an interview, and that can take place either online through Zoom or in person at the college. And if you can visit, as Ellen mentioned just now, it is a really good idea to get a flavour of the place. And also you sit an online maths and English test just to give us an idea of your current level. We also offer scholarships. The application process is essentially the same, except that the tests and the interviews take place on a designated testing day. So the next one is on the 4th of March for boarding scholarships. If you are interested in a day scholarship, it's not too late to apply. We'd like to hear from you. And the application process, again, is the same with a designated selection day. Okay, so as you can see, there are a number of full scholarships plus several partial awards each year. Awards are means tested, so your parents would have to provide information about their finances, and bursaries are also offered to students who will contribute to St Clare's in perhaps non-academic ways. Okay, so I think you've probably heard enough from us, so we're going to introduce our two students now. Do use the Q&A function to ask some questions. So I want to introduce Keris and Teresa.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, hi. So, Keris, actually, let me start with Teresa first, if I may. Teresa, perhaps could you talk us through a typical day at St Clare's? And also, could you just introduce yourself, say where you're from, and just tell us why you applied to St Clare's? What was it about St Clare's that appealed to you?
Okay. So I'm from Slovakia, and I came to St Clare's because I really like the idea of studying somewhere which is not in my country and meeting new people from different countries, which I think is very important. So it gives you new skills, and it will be very useful for your future life. So that's why I chose St Clare's, because it's very diverse, and I really like the idea of studying in Oxford. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, actually, I'll tell you what, Keris, could you do the same? Maybe you could just tell us why you applied to St Clare's.
Yeah, so I'm originally South African, but I've had a very international upbringing and lived in Oxford for the past 4 years. So I did my GCSEs here, but I decided to apply to St Clare's because I really like the idea of the international community. I thought it would be something that really suited me and, my experience. Yeah. Okay, that's great. And Keris, as a day student, could you talk us through your typical day? Yeah, so I think coming to St Clare's, I was worried about how I would integrate as a day student in a primarily boarding school. But I spend a lot of time at St Clare's. So a typical day, I often get to the college maybe around 8:30 in the morning and spend some time with my friends at breakfast before lessons start for the day. And then after a full day of classes, I typically have a CAS activity in the evening. So spend time with my friends in the dining hall or maybe the library after school. And then go to that CAS activity with them, whether it be a sport or a creativity. And then depending on the time, I might have dinner at St Clare's as well. And then I head home for the evening. That's great. And what are your CAS activities, Keris? So for a creativity, I do theatre club, and I'm also working on getting a yearbook committee together to start next term. For my activity, I play volleyball. And then for my service, I'm part of the student council. That's great. And Teresa, again, if you could talk us through a typical day as a boarder. And first of all, was this your first time boarding when you came to St Clare's?
Actually, it wasn't my first time boarding because I used to be in a boarding school in Slovakia, but it's very different than from what I've experienced there. So I would say it's kind of a first time boarding because it's so different. but my typical day is, as a second year student, I would say it's different than from what it was in the first year because we had more time, right? But I now live in a single room, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I spend less time with my friends. I would actually say I spend even more. And in the morning, I go to breakfast and I have classes, which I absolutely love. The teachers are amazing. And then after school, I actually like to cool down a little bit. I talk with my friends. We hang out in our rooms or in the common room. We maybe watch a movie. Then we go to dinner, and I like to go to the gym because of our membership, which is amazing that we can just go to the gym whenever we want and how much we want. There is also a swimming pool, which I love as I was a swimmer before. So I use all of the facilities we can. And yeah, I hang out with my friends even in the library when I study, which is very nice because they can help you if you struggle with something, you don't understand something, they explain it to you. So it's very nice.
Oh, that's good. And you obviously, both as a day student and a boarder, you took part in the orientation weekend at the start of the course. Can you tell the audience a few words about the orientation weekend, if you would, starting with you, Teresa?
Okay, I think it's very important that we have it as first year students because it gives us the opportunity to get to know people, and we kind of bond with them for the first time. We get to know them. It also teaches us a lot about the school. We get to know where each classes take place. We are introduced to some of the teachers. So it's kind of like it makes the experience less scary. Because if you're coming to a new country and you don't know anybody here, you're not used to maybe the mentality of the people. It's very nice to actually be slowly introduced to it and not just like be thrown into the school and like go to your classes, do this, do that.
And Keris, as a day student, how did you find the orientation weekend?
So as a day student, I think it was really helpful because day students boarded for the duration of that weekend. So I think it was a really important time in terms of establishing close relationships and really getting a sense of the school and forming connections with other students, both in your year and in other years, and meeting your teachers and getting to know the school and the people there.
Right, okay. And you both went through the scholarship application process. Could you tell the audience a little bit about the scholarship selection day, starting with you, Teresa?
Yeah, I think it was quite okay. I was very scared when I was attending, but actually it was okay. So if you're gonna do it, don't be scared. I had to, what I remember is I had to attend 3 interviews with different staff members. One was about my life outside of school. One was about what I would like to study in the future. And then the next one was, I think, with the principal, which I was really scared of because you're meeting the principal for the first time, but he was very nice. So yeah, the whole experience were very nice. And then we took part in a group activity with other students where you had to collaborate and basically just show who you are. So yeah.
And what about you, Keris? Presumably, Keris, yours took place in person.
So mine, it was actually online.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Okay, but how was it?
But I think I was similar to Teresa in that I was quite nervous and it seemed quite daunting. But I would say really the interviews and the group activity are really just to get a sense of who you are as a person, both academically and non-academically, and how you would fit within the St Clare's community. And in terms of the English and maths tests, I think I was quite nervous for that as well, but I'd say it's nothing to be too worried about. It's really just to get a sense of your ability. Yeah.
Great. And Keris, can you tell us which subjects you're doing at the IB and what your plans are for next year? And maybe a bit about how Helen and her team helped you with your application process for university.
Yeah, so my higher level subjects are English literature, psychology, and biology. And then at standard level, I do theatre, maths AI, and French B. So my plans for after St Clare's is I've applied to study psychology and neuroscience in the UK. When I came to St Clare's, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do or where I wanted to study. So I think that was something that really drew me to the IB program, is the breadth of subjects. So I could still explore a lot of different possibilities. And Helen and the careers team have been really amazing in helping me decide what would be best for me. So they know you on a really personal level and have great ideas and suggestions about what would be best for you and how to explore different options. So also I was part of the Oxbridge program, and that was really helpful in terms of providing really specialized support, both for interview prep and for really helpful feedback on my personal statement.
Good. And Teresa, could you do the same?
Yeah. So my higher level subjects are biology, chemistry, and psychology, and my standard levels are mathematics, analysis and approaches, then Spanish ab initio, and English A. And I would like to study medicine or biomedical sciences, and I'm applying to different countries, which Helen is helping me with. And I think I'm very grateful for the careers team, because I didn't expect it to be so useful, and they really helped me because I also didn't really know what to study. I just knew that it's something probably in the medical field, but I didn't know if I wanted the dentistry or medicine. So they really helped me to find experiences, to see what I would enjoy more. They talked to me. You can book your meetings if you want. You can book them every single day. You can even attend them through Zoom. So it's very, very friendly. And I would say the feedback I got on my personal statement was the most valuable thing I could get, because my first draft that I wrote was, if I look back, it's really bad, but the one I have now is absolutely great. And I'm very thankful to Helen and all the members of the team.
Oh, that's really good. And Teresa, what was your extended essay on? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I wrote my extended essay on psychology, and it was about exploring if antidepressants are placebogenic, which was actually very interesting. To be honest, when I started writing my extended essay, I was really not excited for it, because everybody is saying oh, it's going to take forever. It's 4,000 words. You're going to have to do so much. It's so boring. But if you actually choose the topic that you are interested in, and you just start writing, you do your research, it's very enjoyable. And the whole process was not that bad as the older students told us that it's going to be. You just have to think about what you would like to research, and then you just write about it, and it's actually not that bad. So.
Okay, and Keris, what about you? What's your extended essay?
So I did mine in psychology as well. And I looked at the gender disparity in autism diagnosis rates, exploring the biological and the sociocultural elements of that. And similar to what Teresa said, I would say if you choose a topic you're really interested in and motivated to explore, it can be a really enjoyable process. Doing all that research, and then at the end you have an academic style essay that you can be really proud of. So I think the whole process was a really beneficial thing.
That's good. That's good. Just a word to the audience. We've got a couple of questions in the Q&A box. If you've got any other questions, do you want to put those in now, and we'll deal with them all at the end. In the meantime, I'm just going to ask our students to just tell us a bit about how they've benefited from being in Oxford. It's a fantastic city. There's a lot going on in Oxford, a lot of culture, lots of beautiful buildings. Teresa, how have you enjoyed being in Oxford, and what sort of things have you done to benefit from being in Oxford?
So the culture here is very different from my country. So when I came here, it was kind of a shock, but I got used to it. I got to explore Oxford. I go to the city centre almost every single weekend because I absolutely love the culture, the architecture. I like to just walk around the canal, and it's very, very enjoyable. And also to go running there is amazing. The nature here is also very pretty. So just being here, I would say I feel very safe. I feel like it's a safe city. I don't know if it's the truth, but I think so. And nothing ever happened to me. I feel confident walking on the streets, even in night. So I think that's great, because not all the cities have this feeling. And what I gained from living here, I think, is just meeting different people, not just from our school, just also from the schools that are around here, because there are different high schools and not just us. So it's very nice to get to know people.
Great. And Keris?
Yeah, I really love Oxford. I think it's such a diverse and rich city in terms of art and culture. And I think since joining St Clare's, I've gained like a new appreciation for the city and how culturally diverse it is, because I think it's really nice to have the perspectives of people who haven't lived here and are new to the city, and kind of get their perspectives on it.
Great, excellent. Okay, so I'm just going to take some questions from the audience. We've got a question about whether animals or pets are allowed in the boarding houses. I'm afraid the answer to that is no, but you will get to see your animals and pets during the holidays and half terms and so on. How many students in each year group? It's about 100 in each year of the IB Diploma, and there's around 50 in the Pre-IB course. A question about what the scholarship tests are on. So the written tests are in maths and English, but maybe I could turn over to Al at this point. Al and perhaps Duncan can say a few words about what we're looking for from our scholarship applicants.
Thanks, Chris. Yes, so yes, the tests in maths and English, they're obviously an important part of what we do. But particularly, they help us to determine which levels a student might take. So, for example, whether higher level maths or standard level maths is most appropriate, or whether you might be heading down the AA or AI streams. And again, with the English, it helps us to determine whether it might be an English A native speaker course or English B. And also, for some people, of course, it really is the thing that they want to do, and it allows them to sort of demonstrate that level of virtuosity, that ability to express themselves in those different ways. But yes, it's not just because those are the only tests we do, doesn't mean that that's the only thing that we're interested in. What we really are looking for is for people who demonstrate that intellectual curiosity. They're interested in the world around them. They want to understand it. They want to sort of take on some of the big, interesting questions. They're the sort of people who are drawn to the fact that we're a very international place. You know, they actually actively want to engage with people from different places. They want to understand those different cultural perspectives. And in many cases, they are wanting to have a really interesting, transformative experience in the last 2 years of their schooling. You know, gaining that independence by being away from home, you know, learning to make their own decisions and choices about the way and how and what they study. And also just developing those sort of international friendships and relationships that are going to be so valuable to them over both the IB course and beyond. So it's really those sort of characteristics that we're looking to see in people who are applying, whether that's just for a full fee place or indeed a scholarship. These are the sort of people that we're very keen to hear from.
Well, if I could just add to that, just in terms of if there's anybody who's looking for a scholarship, you'll get both an academic interview and a sort of non-academic interview, and we're looking for your sense of motivation as well as your, you know, you show your ability in the tests and so on, but we're looking for your sense of attitude to learning and your motivation towards learning, and then we'll look at how well you contribute towards the community and the society and what you do outside of the classroom. So do think about that before you come, and be prepared to answer questions around that.
Great, thank you. I've got a question about whether students are able to go to London during the weekend, and maybe I'll turn that over to the students. Teresa or Keris, do you ever go to London during the weekends?
Yeah, I go quite often because I have my aunt there. So I even just visit her. I take a weekend away, so I sleep at hers, or I just go with my friends for a day trip. And yeah, many people actually go to London very often.
But you have to inform your house parent where you're going, is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay, great. I've got a question about whether pre-IB course is compulsory. It's not, but you need to have done the equivalent year group somewhere else. And that brings me on to another question, which is, can day students join after completing GCSE? Absolutely. We are a sixth form college, essentially. So certainly, if you're finishing year 11 in GCSE, do come to us for year 12 and 13 as the IB as an alternative to A levels. A question about the average class size. That's a really good question. So the maximum class size is 15. The average is 9. And Ellen, just while I've got your attention, what would you say our current boy-girl ratio is?
We have more girls than boys, but I would say 60 and 40 roughly. I don't think that you'll notice actually when you walk around the school, because we have boys and girls, you know, in every personal tutor group, in classrooms, in CAS activities. So, yeah.
Okay, great. And I've got a very interesting question from Estonia, and maybe I'll ask Teresa and Keris to answer this one. So it's really a question of how much time do you spend on group projects, i.e. studying together in the library and making presentations? Probably a bit difficult to generalize, it varies on subjects, but Teresa, could you comment on that?
In psychology, I do quite often presentations with my friends, but I wouldn't say we do a lot of them in other subjects, because most of the subjects are more like you need to work individually, because chemistry, you just do your work. But I would comment on this teamwork aspect of things, that during the lessons, we work together quite often, even in chemistry, for example. Every Friday we have like a revision day, so we work in teams, we revise basically together. So yeah, and you study together a lot, but it depends on the person. Some people prefer to study alone, some people prefer to study in groups. So if you like to study in groups, there will be people in the library all the time studying together, so you can just join them.
Great. And Keris, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think in every subject there are individual and their collaborative aspects. So things like internal assessments or coursework are very individual, but that's a good opportunity to explore the things you're interested in. But I think in general, in classes and during revision, there's a lot of collaboration, and yeah, students like to work together and help each other.
Great. Okay. Well, I'm just going to answer one more question, and that's a very good question about when our next in-person open day is. Our next live open day is on the 21st of January. And now I think I'll hand over to Duncan for any concluding remarks.
Yes, so thank you. I just wanted to pick up on that last point as well about working. When I've spoken to students who've come here from other countries, they do find sometimes that, you know, if they're not used to IB style of learning, if they're not used to the kind of teaching we have here, that is a change. It's much more interactive, it's much more collaborative, and we expect all our students to be engaged and participating in the classes, to work both individually and in groups. So if you're not used to that, that is a bit of a change, but it's a really enjoyable way of working that our students very much appreciate. Thank you very much, all of you, for your presence here today. I hope you've learned a tremendous amount about St Clare's. I would emphasize the student experience, how much the students really enjoy here, but also, as you've heard, we've got not just great pastoral care, but also great academic results. Our students go off to excellent universities, and it's a very enjoyable place to come to Oxford when you're around about 15, 16, and then be fully prepared to go off to a good university when you leave. So hopefully you'd like to find out some more about us and to join us at our next open day, or just contact Chris and find out more about the next time you can visit. Thanks very much today. Have a very good day. Bye-bye.